Hey, it's the Abstractionist. So, I'm going to do a video. This wasn't necessarily requested, but I'm going to circle back to the topic that this person talked about. So, who did this? Let me see. Hold on. Let me look at the messages. Tamisha Rex, on my July wrap-up video, asked, do I have planetary assignments for my decks? And she wanted to see them. This is not that video. This is not that video, but in my response, I explained that I used to do deck interviews. I could not figure out what the word was or the term was when I was like writing it. I don't think it was just taking me forever to figure that shit out. What did I apply? Okay, I did say deck interview. It just took me a long time to figure out what the fuck the words were. But yeah, basically, this video is going to be about like the more deck interviewing process that I used to have. And the reason why I used to have it was just because there was a point in my life where I felt like I was collecting so many decks that I just never interviewed them. And then I also started to give away decks. So I never interviewed them. But essentially, my deck interviewing process was not like other people's, and that they asked like, what am I here to learn from you, and blah 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 blah. Like, what am I here to learn from you? What topics do you want to talk about? Stuff like that. Like, I don't interview decks like that. If I were to go back to deck interviewing, which I will, I think, because the decks that are coming in really suit me. I guess it's a growing into yourself thing. Like, a lot of the decks that don't suit you, I'm starting to like, yeah, this doesn't suit me, let's move on. However, I really enjoyed the process that I had because it was like very simple and to the point, and I feel like it really highlighted just how connected I did become and how much of my intuitive abilities like came out very almost immediate when it came to the decks. And so yeah, there's that. So for me, my deck interview process, a lot of them were held in this. I had another book at one point. It was a Moleskine like unlined book that you would use probably just for sketching or something like that, sketching, note taking, stuff like that. And I had that, and I started to run out of space pretty quickly. So what I did was I went and I got this like sketchbook from Michael's or any art supply store. It doesn't have to be this, but I got this. I never made this. I will do another video. I started to make like a, not a grimoire so to speak, but a moon kind of book. It was pretty extensive. Like, I had started to really like get into it. I just stopped because I stopped learning about the moon cycle. I just kind of felt like, this isn't for me necessarily, but I think I will get back into it because I'm interested in like astrology, but the decans and stuff like that. And I feel like moon mansions, which was a system that I had started to want to learn about, I feel like that also would help play a part. Like, I don't know, it was just very interesting. So essentially, these are some of the older decks that I had. Now some of these I don't have no more, and some of these, yeah, you've never seen me use really, but yeah. So essentially I started like this. Now I originally, let me turn this thing off. I want you to hear me loud and clear. Loud and clear. And I'm like, oh my god, it's a whisper. 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 Hold on. Let me like light my candle and incense to get in like the actual mood to do this. Alright, hold on. Just one more second. Alright. I had to like do that because I just was not feeling it. I usually do that setup. Anyway, so I would just very simply put the name, and then I would just start writing things that I felt about the deck. As you can see, these aren't really, you know, there's nothing about this that's like questioning. But what I also did was I assigned planets to it, right? Usually the top ones that I could feel, I would do maybe 3 or 4 of these. And then I would put houses that I felt like they also kind of would jive with if I were to ever do house readings, which is something that I may do. And then what I did was I glued this piece because I ended up copying from my old book and then taping it here so that if I ever did feel like I followed up extensively, I would have the space to do it. I wouldn't just have the one page. I technically would have 3 pages to work with. Really 4 if you're doing, right? So I would have like this front page, the back of it, the next page, and then this page right there, right? So it worked out. So in the beginning, it didn't go so extensively. Like I would just list it. As you can see, it's like what, there's 8 things, 7 things that I listed. I was much more into the houses, and sometimes I started to put aspects, as you'll see later on. So then I started to get a little bit more extensive. Like as it goes on, I kind of sat down a little longer. And wrote. This is another one. So some of the decks, it came off very chatty, like this one. So Tattoo Tarot Megamundin came out very, like a lot. And then I started putting aspects. So you see that Sun Venus conjunct. And I would literally just spend the next 30 minutes to an hour writing stuff down. Like, so some of them I didn't have as much, like this one later on. Because some of these decks, like this Syra deck, is really hard to read. It actually, you know, I don't have a planet for that. I have a house, but it says 12th, but air. I started to make notes like that. If you had an air 12th house, this may be a deck for you. It also, this system helps to recommend, I think, decks for people who are looking for specific house healings. I guess, like if you want to tap into your, it's kind of sad because most people, when they do healing work, they always focus on the 12th, the 8th, those two. But like, there's a whole bunch of houses that like really could offer a lot of healing. Like, you know, my like 10th house and 9th house have been pretty significant in my life. My Saturn return, my like 6th, 7th houses, really interesting shit has been happening. Like the house of my son, which is like Cancer, which kind of is like 10th and then leans over a little bit to 11th. Yeah, like, yeah, it's active, but it's like, I feel like I have like, depending on how you put it, an 11th/12th house moon, depending on what kind of chart you're pulling up. If you're doing equal house, it's a 12th. If you're doing the other one where you're going back to actual like degrees and shit, it's like 11th house moon. But yeah, like I feel like that's one of the shames of astrology. People tend to focus on the houses as seem the more salacious, juicy. You know, no one ever talks about like fucking Virgo. You know, no one ever talks about the 6th house. Like that's a pretty significant placement, I think. Just saying. The 1st house, shit, that's like the basis. You know, I feel like I don't know, I feel like we just want to jump into like the deep, heavy stuff, but like all of my houses have been significant, like some more significant than others, obviously, but yeah. Anyway, oh yeah, another thing is I didn't limit it to my oracles. I have these cards that are get fit cards, so it talks about different different exercises on the cards, but I actually did them. And this goes to show that you can use cards that may not be traditionally tarot or oracle, and you can work with them. And even if it's like soul cards, like I think I may have written some shit with them about them. I haven't used my tarot to fully go in forever, yo. But essentially it's the same pattern each time. And yeah, this system was pretty basic for me. I pretty much almost ran out. I have like maybe 10-ish pages left. Obviously, it's going to be more if I put these in. The last deck that I did was the Mandala Astrological Tarot, which was a Plutonian deck, even though I ended up putting it under Mars on the initial thing. I've only read as a Pluto. What I did say about this deck was I felt like it was a fire spirit, or I felt like it was a vulture spirit. There we go, vulture spirit watching over that one, particularly with like Egyptian leanings. So yeah. All right, as I've gotten to know it anyway. So that is how I deck you, and then yeah. I should go through some of these and see which ones I have and which ones I don't anymore. Most of the earlier ones, I still have. Mystical Manga, I don't. Psychic Tarot, I still have. Zombie Tarot was my personal deck, so I never really showed it. Halloween Oracle, I don't. Law of Attraction Oracle, if that's the one about the money, I still have it. Astrological Oracle cards, I don't have that. Ask Angels, if that's the one with, what's her name, the one that was like peace to y'all, because I'm going over here with Jesus, that one. Doreen Virtue, there we go. I was like, what's her name? Yeah, so some of these I don't have no more because I personally just, I'm not interested no more. Like, some of these just like really aren't my vibe. And like I said, like a lot of the ones that were oracles left because I was just like, I'm not feeling this. But yeah, a lot of my decks are like in here. My cloud deck is written here and all that. So I would implore you to try it if you are interested in doing question-based deck interviewing. Just intuitively see what comes to mind. Even if you don't assign planets and stuff like that, I would go with that. I think I may find and link all of the videos regarding planets and why, and then I'll do another one because I have more decks obviously that I've purchased since that one, and I think I did it last year or so, but obviously I have purchased more decks since then. And yeah, so I'll probably try and work on that today. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.